Welcome to Patty and the Millennials. This podcast features me, the baby boomer Patty Jackson, amongst some amazing millennial women, including Mina Say What from the Power 99 Rise and Grind Show, Latoya Charleston, Chocolate Divinity, Tamara Stewart, Troy Barnes,
Hello,
and Shanine Speaks.
Hello.
Okay, ladies, we're going to start off. I got a couple of things I want to touch on, but we're going to talk about a hobosexual. That's a hobosexual.
All right,
Troy?
so this is what you're an expert on, Troy. Homosexuals. As, you know, just graduating college, I'm well versed in this thing. So, a homosexual is someone who doesn't have anywhere to stay. And if you are, bae at the moment, they will stay with you. And then you start to realize, we don't go to your house. We don't go out a lot. It's because he's homeless. And he needs some place to stay during the wintertime. And cuffing season is almost here. We're in the scouting season. It's August. Drafting is in September. So, everybody's getting their ducks in a row, figuring out who has the house, who has the steady income, who has the food in the fridge, so that they can figure out where they're going to be in December and January.
Oh my gosh.
They have to plan it out.
Oh, yeah. This is a real thing, a hobosexual, and you have to know because they will start a sexual relationship with you so they can have a place to stay. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts?
You know what? I think I've encountered one of these.
Now that I'm considering the definition, I think I've encountered a man like this. But listen, the second you start feeling taken advantage of, you got to kick the hobo to the street. Oh, yeah, because they start feeling real entitled.
Right. You want to use my car?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Let me drop you off
gas
at work.
in it? Do you pay for the insurance? Did you pay my car note? No, you can't use my gas. My car.
Yeah, I was going to say, do they pitch in? Like, do they provide the food?
If you find a good one, if you don't, he's like, you're going to pick something up on the way. Can we get McChickens? It's a thing. So when I was in college, there was a homosexual that, just hopped around. So he would literally, in the dorms, he would be in one room, until November. Then he will hop over when we got back to school in January to another room. It's a thing.
So my thing is, when does the conversation happen of, do you need help? Do we have to go to a place? Why are you homeless? Do we have to talk about this? Because that is, I'm flabbergasted, honestly.
Chocolate Divinity? Because this is a real thing.
I mean, I'm very aware. I actually have a few hobosexuals in my family. I just don't know what kind of woman would put up with that. I love my space, my freedom. Once you give me that good, you got to go. I'm sorry. I will give you that look. You're not staying here. You're not staying a night unattended. You are not going to be in my spot with your feet kicked up. I walk in the house, you got a damn bowl of Captain Crunch watching cartoons looking at me.
But they laying the good down. Damn. I mean, there are women who fall for this.
Troy just taught me a whole new definition of life. I'm like, you need to go back and teach this course.
Yo, this is crazy because I've had my what's the term?
Not a homosexual.
I can't say it. Hobosexual. Okay, I've had my hobosexual experience, and it's just it gets real. You get caught up, but then you get smart. Okay, so for people who I don't have a homosexual. Lawrence from Insecure is a hobosexual. He's sleeping on his friend's air mattress, but on the weekends he goes and sleeps at Tasha's house, but he doesn't have something under his name.
He got that lined up though. Listen. I'm not Team Lawrence because he's being real.
But for right now,
F-boyish.
at this moment, he did not sign a lease. So that Negro is a hobosexual.
That's true. But I don't know. But the chick on the show, she got tired of that. She said, "Oh no, you done.
You got to know
she
when
got
to."
Smart.
What's the key to getting a good night's sleep?
Liquor.
No, it's not liquor.
I was going to say something else.
It's not liquor. Ladies, it's sleeping naked. A new poll came out that said that if you sleep naked, it's actually good for your health Toya, you're looking at me like I'm crazy.
Cause I'm sorry, that's a lie because I sleep naked all the time and I barely sleep. So I don't know. Maybe I need to readjust myself. Maybe I need to open my legs. Like I don't know. Like what? Maybe not enough air is getting to her or something. Because that don't work for me.
Okay.
I sleep semi-naked, TMI, but I can't be opening my legs. I feel like someone's going to crawl in there in the middle of the night. So I always have to have underwear on. I can't be fully 1,000% naked.
But this poll came out that said you'll get a better night's rest and it's better for your health. Joy.
I actually, when I have slept naked, I felt like I got a great amount of sleep. Not a breeze. You felt the breeze, but I've been like, wow, I had a really good night's sleep. I'm not getting like tangled in my pajamas or anything like that. So I'm like, I believe
Janine, you've got kids.
Yeah,
because when you're a parent, it's a different thing.
Yeah, I'm still nature girl. I'm sorry, like baby girl, you gonna be a woman too soon. Like, no, I'm not always completely just out in the open, but I mean, she'll run in sometimes. It's like, close my door. Don't sit on my bed because sometimes I'm under there with nothing.
Do you feel that it's better for your health?
I do. I teach my daughter that too. Even they say you're not even supposed to sleep with underwear. So I teach her that too. Sometimes you do have to get the breeze.
I can't do it. I feel like an infection's gonna crawl in there. Some animals. Maybe there's a fly in the room. The fly lined on it. Start doing that little thing it does with an antenna. No.
And you know what, ladies? Because we're all kind of blessed. So the bra thing, I definitely can't do that at all. So maybe it is really good for your health. I do believe that.
But yeah, a new survey came out. I know you're saying, where do you get these surveys? On a more serious note, it's something that I wanted to touch on. The current atmosphere in our country, and racism is real, and it's here, and it's in front of us. And with the recent event in Charlottesville, they're not wearing hoods anymore. You're seeing their pictures. You're seeing what they look like. How would you respond if you saw one of these alt-right rallies, right, and realized, oh my gosh, I work with them? Or it could be someone in your family, and you'd be like, what? That's what our cousins are doing?
I'll snatch them up. What are you doing here? Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, seriously? I know you. Because that's the thing. I feel like a lot of the issue is that people don't say anything, right? So you see people say certain things, or you're in an environment where somebody might say something a little prejudiced or whatever. A lot of the times people don't say anything. You have to say something, especially if you know that person. I'm snatching you up, taking you out, and be like, what is wrong with you?
Tam?
The sad thing is, you notice with the last presidential election, or any of the presidential elections in the last, 16 years, 8 years, 8 years, 8 and 4. Cool. Great. Thank you. But you notice in the last couple elections that on Facebook and social media, people have been getting a little bit more outward with the way that they're speaking. But like you said, if I actually see some of the people that are making these comments on Facebook out in public, and it's just like, yo, like, I went to high school with you. Like, I know your parents. I went to college with you. And you're all of a sudden want to be sitting there saying all these types of racial slurs and how you feel as a white privilege. Oh, we fighting. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's real.
It's aggravating.
It's aggravating, and it can sometimes be disappointing if it's somebody that you
know that
you like, that you've
Yes.
had coffee with, that you see, like, hey, what's up, Shanine?
Yeah, it irritates me. I'm really not the protesting type because, like, I would probably, God forbid, but, I don't want to be that one staring them in the face. And next thing you know, we going blow for blow because, like Tam said, you would be the one fighting. And it's ridiculous because nobody understands the knowledge behind all of this. Like, you were taught to believe this so the country could save money on their end. They taught you to believe that we were supposed to be slaves, to believe that we were supposed to be monkeys, that you're not supposed to like us, that we don't belong here, just so they can keep what they stole in this country. And it's just ridiculous that these people, especially the new and upcoming generation, it's just, where is your knowledge of this? Where exactly is this hate coming from? I would love to have that conversation to find out, why do you hate us so much? And like, for our government, I feel like it's just something that needs to be said. We need both ends. I don't know if you're going to have the Al Sharptons, the Obamas, on one end representing one clan or what have you, and you need the other saying, listen, we acknowledge this happens. How do we move forward? Because all of this division is not working. You heard Jay-Z said nobody wins when the family feuds. This isn't anybody's country. You get what I'm saying? This was stolen from the beginning. So when is this going to stop? When are you going to acknowledge this happened? I understand why you guys are upset. We understand that it did happen and things need to change.
But it's not just against African Americans.
I
You got to
understand
think
that.
gays. You got to now they bringing in the Jews with the Nazi thing. Toya,
The foundation of it really does start within your household. Especially like you said, people you're around every day. You might sit in the office at the water cooler talking about the latest, greatest reality shows, this and that. But when they go home behind closed doors, you don't know what that dinner table conversation is. So I just look at it, it's just like sad. Hopefully, I look at my mission in life is just to change minds, like let you see something different. Maybe it's not what you were raised or what you were taught. Just try to lead by example. I used to do a job market research, and this one house I called Deep South, old white lady, she said to me, "You speak very well to be a colored girl."
Thank you.
And that's all I could say. And in that moment, I'm like, well, at least this old white lady who's probably dead now, at least now she died thinking, like seeing like, okay, now they're like maybe all black people aren't what I was raised to see or what I was taught. It's kind of like, I look at it like some people, you have your family members who might be a little racist. You might have your grandma. Your grandma might be a little racist, but you love her. So it's like, Nana, my mission in life is to teach you, like, it ain't all like that. Chill.
Tam. But when you see that this person could be the loan officer, the police officer, the people in our neighborhoods and people that we are, that scary reality.
See, my bigger question is like everybody's saying, like, how do we change that? Like going here on out, like how are we changing people's perceptions? How are we changing people's opinions? How are we changing the way people think as far as like culturalistic views? And it is frustrating. It definitely is frustrating. But I tell people all the time, like I grew up in the suburbs, and apparently Googling later, my suburbs is one of the most like racial KKK holding areas of the world. I had no idea growing up. I never experienced that. But my high school was really big on multicultural. Like we had the Russians, we had Indians, we had Asians, we had Hispanics, like straight off the boat because our ESL program was so good. And it's just like growing up in a community where we had such diversity.
Straight off the boat, though.
Little racist.
Damn, girl. Straight off the boat, though. We just got off the boat. We could have come on planes. Maybe we came over here on a bus. Off the boat? I came on a plane.
Not to be racist. Good. But we had a really great multicultural program where it's just like you had kind of no choice but to be invested in cultures outside of your own. So again, seeing somebody now that I went to high school with and finding out that they're, you know, like a new Nazi wannabe leader or something like that, like I don't know how I would take it because I wasn't raised in that form of such hate. And so again, the question is, how do you change people's perceptions?
I think, you know, I really agree with what Toya said. You lead by example and you just try to not be the stereotype that people think that you are. That's A. And like I said before, I also think you speak up. Like I was at the Dunkin' Donuts and there was a white woman and she was saying something really mean to the Indian woman that was working in the Dunkin' Donuts, very derogatory and racial, and being like really talking down to her. And I said, excuse me, don't talk to her like that. That's not right. Where's your manager? And she's like, all of a sudden the manager's not there. I wrote down her name and I wrote a letter, you know, and in that moment, maybe she felt free enough to talk to that woman like that, but that was not right. And I don't know if I'm going to change her as a person, but at least you're going to understand you don't talk to people like that. Exactly. You don't talk to people like that because someone's going to call you out. And I hope she's fired.
It's time for everyone to speak up, not just people of color, but also white people who see that this is wrong and see that this shouldn't be happening, because silence is the worst thing that you can do. And what I've been realizing from this weekend on is that more white people are starting to say, okay, we get it. This is not right. We need to start using our voices. We need to start asking, how can we assist in this? And that is what needs to be done. People need to step up and not just say, oh, that's just my crazy uncle. Oh, you know, he's just stuck in his ways. No, you tell them they're wrong. Just like you would say we're wrong as being people of color, you know, for anything that we do, we're wrong. You also need to hold those people accountable for what they do. And this weekend was heinous. This was a horrible, horrible weekend. So I think that people just being able to speak up and not be silent about these things will actually make a difference, especially in workplaces, because everybody wants to be so PC and just be like, oh no, well that's what he does on the weekend. Nah, he's bringing that here.
Right.
So you need to tell him, you go to that thing again, you treat us any type of way, it's a wrap. You're done. Take him to HR. All that.
Great conversation, ladies. I know you're saying, how do we go from homosexuals to the climate in our country?
To the KKK.
Only here.
But thank you for the conversation. Shanine Speaks, Troy Barnes, Tamara Stewart, Latoya Charleston, Mina Say What, our producer, Latifah Wadi.
Yay.
I'm Patty Jackson. This podcast is Patty and the Millennials right here, wdas-fm.com.